things for you this morning. And of course, we're going to start with our news review segment. Right after that, we get into our business news, and then we follow that up with a sports flash, and then we get into our business brief segment. I will come and share something briefly with you ahead of our roundtable discussion, and then we get into our transport today segment, keeping you updated in the local flight schedules and the traffic situation in town this morning. And then we wrap then we get into our market trend segment, and then we wrap everything up with our roundtable discussion. And today we're talking about digital marketing for how you can review 2025 and also plan for 2026. What exactly to expect? If you're a business owner, this is a very important conversation you don't want to miss. If you know anybody that is in the digital marketing space, then you may want them to also tune in, because my guest is an expert, is a guru in the space. So very important conversation. Let's look at some of the things that are making waves in our news review segment this morning. Please stay tuned. All right, thank you very much. Let's get into our news review segment this morning. It's a very interactive show as well, so feel free to send me a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019. Starting with a New Finder newspaper this morning, on the front page says that businesses on edge as utility prices climb, and story is on page 9 of the paper. We'll look at that shortly. And also this one says BOG signals plan to ease liquidity mop up in 2026, and that is on page 7 of the paper. And also IMF cautions on pace of AI's economic impact, and it's on page 2. Natural gas and lithium lead commodity gains as global markets diverge, and that is coming from the Afri-Exim Bank. Let me look at some of the stories. Also, this one says that price control could discourage innovation and hurt market competition, and that is coming from an analyst, I think, from the conversation that we had yesterday. Also, reliable data remains key to national development, and that is coming from the Deputy Minister of Finance. Let me just read a portion of that, and we can move on. It says that Deputy Minister of Finance Thomas Ampem-Nyako has underscored the crucial role of credible data in national development, stressing that no country can achieve resilience, fairness, and efficiency without a strong statistical foundation. Now, speaking at the 2025 Annual Forum for Data Producers, Users, and Enhancers, Mr. Nyako said quality data remains the bedrock on which effective policy making, transparency, and equitable resource allocation are built. And he revealed that district level poverty rate in Ghana currently vary by more than 40 percentage points, an imbalance that only becomes visible through robust and reliable data. Mr. Nyako noted that while Ghana's headline inflation has dropped commendably to 6.3%, deeper analysis showed that inflation varies widely across different parts of the country. So the story goes on and on, but yeah, I think the focus is largely about the fact that data is very, very important. Now, if you check across the globe, if you look at all the countries that are making progress, it is simply because they have the data to back whatever they are doing. They have the data, the research to actually know that this is what is needed at this point. This is what we have done till this point, and this is what is needed. And so that is actually something that has been helping them. And so very important. Data is really, really key to national development. So if we're looking forward to developing as a nation, I believe strongly, also I agree with the minister that data is very, very important. I think another person who spoke there is the government statistician, Dr. Al-Hassan Idris. And okay, there's a story here. He also reaffirms central role of data in national development. Let me read a portion of his story as well. It says a government statistician, Dr. Al-Hassan Idris, has underscored the indispensable role of data in Ghana's development efforts, insisting that no policy, budget, or national plan can succeed without strong, credible, and timely statistics. Now, addressing participants at the 2025 Annual Forum for Data Producers, Users, and Enhancers, held under the theme Financing Innovation in Data and Statistics for Sustainable and Inclusive Development, Dr. Idrisu emphasized that evidence, not assumptions, must guide decision-making at all levels of governance, and he stressed that budgeting, planning, performance management, and policy evaluation are all anchored on high-quality data. And according to him, strong data systems do more than inform policy. They save lives, boost investor confidence, and create pathways for national advancement. And he noted that Ghana's recent strides in statistical modernization demonstrate what is possible when innovation is prioritized. And yes, so those are some of the, I mean, that's a story there. And so also pointing to the same data issue, that indeed data is very, very important, and we need to have data to back whatever we are doing, because at the end of the day, if you're unable to measure whatever you're doing, you can't make progress. You don't know where you've gotten to, you don't know what you need, and all of that. So data is very, very important, and I've seen the Ghana Statistical Service do quite a very good job, in this last few months, looking at the data, the timeliness of the data that we need for anything. I mean, for any on any information, really, essentially with regards to our CPI and producer price inflation and all of that. They've been very, very timely. Within the first week of every month, they release their report. It means that work is going on, and I think this is actually what we need to be able to project, to be able to plan and prepare for what is ahead. So data is very, very important. If we know how far we have come in a particular development agenda, it will actually help us to be able to make progress, and that is all based on data. Even if you look at the sustainable development goals, if you really want to measure how far we have come since 2015 till now, we have just about 5 years to end that particular 15-year plan, development plan, sustainable development plan. And if you want to see how far we've come, it is data. If you want to see how we can be able to get to the end of the 30 years, the end of the 2030 agenda, we need to be able to look at the data and see what to do within the next 5 years to be able to achieve that. So data is very, very important in national development, and I hope that we're able to prioritize it from time to time. So that is that. And also this one says FABAG rejects new tariffs, says ECG is holding back economic growth. Well, yes, so FABAG has actually spoken, and I think yesterday I touched on this particular story briefly, talking about the fact that there are inefficiencies in our utility system in terms of electricity and also water. There are inefficiencies in the management of those institutions, specifically ECG and Ghana Water Limited. So there is no need really for increments. Let's fix the loopholes so that whatever we are putting in, if we're charging more, whatever we are charging doesn't leave the organization or the institution. Because when we looked at a public accounts committee meeting earlier this year, you realize that most of the engagements were towards some of the mismanagement that goes on in some of these institutions. And FABAG says that if we don't actually deal with those issues, we'll continue to increase tariffs as a way to be able to solve the problem, but you won't solve it. It's like putting money in your pocket when you know that your pocket is torn. You can keep putting the money. It doesn't matter how much you put, it will get missing as long as you don't fix the their pockets. So that's exactly what Fabag is calling for, and I side with Fabag strongly that let's deal with the issues. Let's deal with the bane of our country, which is corruption, the mismanagement, the inefficiencies that go on in some of these public institutions. So PURC, maybe a call is to PURC to rethink the decision for these recent increments that have been approved by them. So that says that story there too. Also, this one says greater urges immediate interest rate cuts to revive housing sector. Also, this one says that oversupply, weak demand actually drive key commodities lower in November, and that is from the Afri-Exim Bank. And also, SNET introduces annual pensioner certificates renewal from January 2026, and GRA intensifies domestic revenue drive ahead of IMF exits. Let me look at that story. It says that Dominic Enab, acting head of strategy and research at the Ghana Revenue Authority, has outlined a series of reforms aimed at strengthening domestic revenue mobilization as Ghana prepares to exit its IMF-supported program next year. Now, speaking at the Media Foundation for West Africa's Tax Dialogue, he said the authority's initiatives are designed to provide the government with a more reliable stream of funds to support critical development priorities. And he also said he stressed the urgency of domestic revenue mobilization, noting that, and I quote, "We are aware that international funding is limited, so generating revenue locally is essential. Many individuals and businesses can earn income, but because they are not on our radar, the government misses out on crucial funds." And the GRA reforms include targeted compliance and administrative measures aimed at widening the tax net and improving efficiency. Analysts say that the effectiveness of all these measures will be pivotal in determining Ghana's fiscal resilience beyond 2026, particularly as the country seeks to reduce reliance on external support. And as Ghana edges closer to the end of its IMF program, boosting domestic revenue is seen as critical for funding national development priorities, including infrastructure, education, and social services. Well, very important. I think this is something that we all know, that we want to broaden the tax nets. We constantly talk about that, but I'm glad to see that the GRA is putting in some reforms. I hope that these are real reforms that will actually change the trajectory of our country when it comes to revenue mobilization. Well, that's one of the biggest hurdles of our country. We are unable to really mobilize our revenue, and as a result of that, we tend to depend on foreigners or foreign aid, really, and foreign support anytime we want to carry out a project. So you see a project and you see that it was built by this particular country, this particular organization, and then it goes on and on. Meanwhile, we can also actually raise our own funds and be able to do or carry out some of our projects. So very important one there. I hope that this is actually done real quickly so that we can see the gains. Also, GSE ends week higher as composite index gains 23 points and market cap surges. And also oil prices slip amid geopolitical tensions and Fed watch. And also gold rises above $4,200 on Fed rate cut expectation. Also BOG signals plan to ease liquidity mop-up in 2026. And government records strong T-bill demand, but short-term yields continue to edge up. And BOG is set to roll out major cybersecurity reforms for banks and fintechs. Let me read a portion of that as well. It says that the Bank of Ghana is preparing to implement sweeping cybersecurity reforms across the financial sector as the rapid growth of digital payment system exposes banks and fintech firms to increasingly complex cyber threats. Now, the central bank expects to issue a revised cyber and information security directive early next year, introducing stricter governance requirements and expanding its real-time monitoring capabilities. Now, the plan was announced at the Payments Industry Cybersecurity Summit, where officials warned that the pace of innovation in the industry must be matched by equally robust security safeguards. Delivering remarks on behalf of Governor Dr. Johnson Pandit Siama, Mr. Daniel Esklu, acting head of information security, says cyber risks were rising sharply as digital transactions have become integral to Ghana's economy. And he cautioned that a single breach has a potential to undermine public confidence and even disrupt the transmission of monetary policy. So, of course, cybersecurity is very important. As we continue to see an increase in innovation, then it means that we have to also equally match that particular, that's the innovation with robust systems, robust security systems, and safeguards. So very important one coming from there. We hope that that is also done as soon as possible. Well, BOG moves to rebalance reserves with partial gold. Partial gold divestment. Right, and also this one says that Fitch predicts softer financing conditions for sub-Saharan Africa in 2026, and natural gas, lithium. I already read this one. It's also this one says that Interior Minister probes OSP assassination allegation. Let me look at that story. It says that the Ministry of the Interior has initiated 2 major investigations following explosive claims involving the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Now, the move comes after allegations surfaced that Special Prosecutor Kissia Jabin had survived 2 attempted assassinations and that a senior official at the OSP was physically assaulted by police officers. Now, the issues were first brought to public attention on December 6 when the OSP's Director of Strategy, Research and Communication, Samuel Appiah Darko, appeared in a media interview in Accra. Now, during the discussion, he alleged that Mr. Jabin had been the target of 2 separate assassination attempts while carrying out his mandate. He also claimed that he himself had been handcuffed and beaten by as many as 17 police personnel during an encounter. In a statement released on Monday, December 8th, the Interior Ministry said the allegations, if true, raise serious national security concerns and have the potential to undermine the country's ongoing anti-corruption efforts. The ministry explained that because of the weight of these claims, preliminary checks were immediately activated, and according to the ministry, its early engagement with the Special Prosecutor Kissia Jabin indicated that the alleged attempts on his life reportedly took place before the year 2025. I see. Very interesting story, but I think it is wrong if that is actually true. It is wrong to target our public officers, especially people that are fighting the major problems that we have. So I hope that we were able to investigate that and bring some finality to the issue. But also this one says that Kolebu surgeon urges expansion of cancer centers amid rising breast cancer cases. All right, so those are some of the stories in the New Finder newspaper. There are some other ones, but do well to grab a copy this morning somewhere in town and you can have a read. Also, let's look at some other portals. On myjoyonline.com, it says that Office of the Special Prosecutor has failed. Sam Okujeto tears into Ghana's anti-corruption model, and also scrap it. He says that as well. Sam Okujeto. And also, corruption is still everywhere. Sam Okujeto says OSP missed its mission. Also, this one says Galamsey fired. Court adjourns case of assault on Joy News crew to April 15, 2026. And also, GTA responds to viral videos alleged kidnapping of tourists. And Parliament notifies EC over vacant Kpandai seat following court rerun order. I see. And also this one says that Ghana makes move to deploy troops to ECOWAS mission in Benin after failed coup. That is coming from Joy News. Also, Benin government says short-lived coup left casualties on both sides. A new mpox strain identified in England. So those are some of the stories this morning on myjoyonline.com. I think there are some other ones. Let me just mention some other ones as well. This one says that Baumia will perform better in 2026 NPP primaries. His popularity has actually increased. And also, Ghana education crisis deepens as WASI results expose systemic gaps. And NIMOS ramps up Eastern region clamp down and shuts major Galamsey sites. And also Professor H.K. Prempe urges constitutional overhaul to fix OSP challenges. And also tariff hikes, a sign of failed leadership. and also suspend it. That is coming from the minority to government. And Kufuor spoke the obvious truth. NPP defense critic of Akufo-Addo, and also NDC party hawks instigating removal of key officials. Key officials of independent institutions. That's coming from Afenyo Marking. All right, and also these one says that okay, so those are some of the stories there this morning. Accra High Court dismisses application by Chairman Wuntumi's lawyers for further disclosures, and also police arrest 3 suspected kidnappers after fierce gun battle. And Interior Ministry orders full probe into alleged assassination attempts on Special Prosecutor Kisia Jabing. I think same story I read earlier. Let's look at citynewsroom.com. So this one, it says that OSP will disappear without constitutional reform. Professor Prempeh warns. Let me just look at that story. It says that Professor H.K. Prempeh, Executive Director of the Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, has called for a constitutional solution to address the ongoing controversies surrounding the office of the Special Prosecutor. Speaking on Channel 1 TV's The Point of View with Bernard Lavely on Monday, December 8th, Professor Prempeh said the challenges confronting the OSP cannot be resolved through piecemeal reforms or prolonged litigation. He warned that without a decisive constitutional remedy, the office risks becoming ineffective or eventually disappearing. He argued that the situation demands a fundamental constitutional rethink rather than attempts to quote and unquote renovate around the problem. And his comments come amid growing calls for the majority leader Mahama Ayariga and some members of Parliament for the abolition of the office of the Special Prosecutor with responsibilities for investigating and prosecuting corruption-related offences being transferred to the Attorney General's department. Now, addressing Parliament on Wednesday, December 3, Mr. Ayariga questioned the rationale behind what he described as the under-resourcing of the Attorney General's department, while significant funds are allocated to the OSP, which he argued has failed to meet its public expectations. So that is a story there. According to the majority leader, we should move the office of the Special Prosecutor, or we should just scrap it all together and move all the cases to the Attorney General's department. So that is that, and I've seen that a lot of other people are waiting on that. But according to Professor Prempeh, we should actually have some constitutional reforms that will actually deal with that, because the OSP is not, I think it's not quite supported by the Constitution. Yes, it doesn't have constitutional backing, to the best of my knowledge. I stand to be corrected anyway, but yeah, that is actually what the problem is. So that's why we can just wake up and say we are scrapping it. But he believes that if we are able to put it in the Constitution, then we cannot just wake up and say we're scrapping something like that. So that is that. Let's look at some other portals as well. Parliament writes to Electoral Commission about vacant Kpandai seats, and also Lordina Foundation holds fifth medical screening for retired pastors of Assemblies of God, and also Saboba Paramount Chief appeals to President Mahama for road, bridge, and tertiary institution. And also 2 Ghanaians receive awards at ICASA 2025. Bono police arrest 8 notorious armed robbers, including ex-convicts. And also police rescue kidnap victim and arrest 3 suspects. Also, GTEC reminds tertiary institutions about policy regulating honorary degrees aimed at curbing the abuse of same. So that is those are some of the stories also on graphiconline.com. Let's look at the High Street Journal. This one says that cut financial infractions or face specialized courts are to force into audit heads and chief directors. Yes. Right, so that's the story. Let me read a portion of that. It says that as part of efforts and commitments to maintain fiscal discipline, Finance Minister Dr. Kesiel Latufo has charged chief directors and key heads of audit units across ministries, departments, and agencies to drastically reduce financial infractions in public institutions. Now, the minister issued this firm call when he addressed a high-level meeting on the implementation of the 2024 audit report recommendations. Sorry, and the minister was quick. The minister was quick to add that the country currently has specialized courts to deal with financial infractions, and hence they must prepare to face the law should they supervise any infractions. Now, Dr. Kisiola Tufos insisted that the country can no longer afford the persistent waste and avoidable breaches that continue to drain scarce public resources, and he stressed that such lapses not only weaken public trust but also undermine stability and confidence the government has been working to rebuild. Now, for him, Ghana deserves better, reminding officials that financial discipline is not optional but a duty owed to every citizen. And in a social media post, the minister indicated that I shared my concern that persistent waste sends the wrong signal about our nation and risks undermining the peace, stability, and confidence we have all worked so hard to restore, and we cannot continue to lose scarce resources through infractions that are completely avoidable. Ghana truly deserves better. And so that's Dr. Kisio Atufosin speaking to the chief directors of audit units across the ministries, departments, and agencies. So that is that. Let's look at some other ones. This one says World Bank pushes for everyday AI to improve lives in developing countries, and also T-bills record hit second consecutive overflow and record a 38% oversubscription, but at expense of high rates. And also developers flee poorly maintained roads, identify housing market surface. So those are some of the stories there as well. Let's look at the international front. On BBC, it says that Ukraine prepares new peace plan as Zelensky rules out giving up land. I see. It looks like things are getting tougher. Then also Thailand, Cambodia fighting spreads along border as death toll rises, and also Sudan Air Force bombing of towns, markets, and schools has killed hundreds, report says, and pioneering new treatment reverses incurable blood cancer in some patients. And also Australia's social media ban for children has left big tech scrambling. And let's look at some other ones. On CNN, it says that Supreme Court signals it will give Trump more control of government, and also Trump greenlights exports of NVIDIA H200 chips to China. And Trump seeks to influence big-time measure with his own interests at stake. And on Reuters, U.S. accuses 2 Chinese men of trying to smuggle NVIDIA chips, and also U.S. to allow NVIDIA H200 chip shipments to China. Trump says that. And then on Bloomberg Africa, it says that Krishna Apollo billionaire dad power hostile Warner Bros bid. And also Volvo offers software to rivals in reversal from coding. All right, so those are some of the stories making waves this morning. This is how we wrap up on our news review segment. My name is Nitra B. Hammond. Up next is the business news with Solomon Tetenate. Please stay tuned.
It's now time for business news. Coming up shortly, Bank of Ghana rebalance foreign reserves, and also FDA cracks down on fake expired product, and treasury bills oversubscribed in latest auction. This and many more stories we are coming your way. Do stay with us. I am Solomon Tete Nati. Now, the news in detail. The Bank of Ghana says it is undertaking strategic rebalancing of the country's total foreign reserves, which includes a partial divestment of its gold holdings. According to the bank, the move forms part of a broader asset allocation strategy designed to align Ghana's reserve mix with long-term monetary policy objectives. The adjustment is also intended to reduce the bank's exposure to sharp movement in global gold prices, limiting the active hedging within its risk limit. The central bank emphasizes that the decision is not speculative but a disciplined risk management measure focused on long-term stability and resilience. Officials say the rebalancing is expected to improve the efficiency of external reserve management while maintaining confidence in Ghana's monetary framework. Officials of the Food and Drugs Authority in the Ashanti region have stepped up market surveillance and consumer education as the festive season approaches. The authority says empowering shoppers to spot expired and counterfeit products is key to reducing the circulation of unsafe goods. The Ashanti Regional Director of the FDA, Nathaniel Nana Kwabena Nkrumah, said the agency is adopting a two-pronged strategy of public sensitization and strict engagement with manufacturers and distributors to ensure compliance with standards. He cautioned consumers against buying body enhancement products that are not approved by the FDA, warning that such items often sold on social media pose serious health risk. He urged the public to seek services only from certified professionals. Moving on, Ghana's improving economic outlook is set to boost key sectors, according to Julian Oponi, Managing Director of Fidelity Bank Ghana. Speaking to the global investor, Oponi said the country's GDP growth in 2025 creates a prime environment for strategic investment. He highlighted 4 growth engines: small and medium enterprises, agriculture, sustainable attractiveness, and regional trade. He noted that SMEs form the backbone of Ghana's economy, contributing to employment, innovation, and local value, pointing to Fidelity Bank's partnership with the MasterCard Foundation and Proxtera to support high-potential businesses. Julian Opoli also emphasized the promise of agri-processing and government initiatives like Feed Ghana, as well as the rapid digitalization of the financial sector, which Fidelity is leveraging to expand access to credit. He stressed the bank's commitment to sustainable investment, citing programs in renewable energy, youth entrepreneurship, and green tech innovation as key drivers of growth and impact. Ghana's rebound, he concluded, offers opportunities for investors across sectors. Ghana Revenue Authority is ramping up domestic revenue mobilization as the country prepares to exit its IMF program next year. Acting Head of Strategy and Research at the GRA, Dominic Nab, says the authority has introduced targeted compliance and administrative reforms aimed at boosting revenue performance. If effectively implemented, these measures are expected to provide the government with a more reliable stream of funds to support development priorities. Speaking during the Media Foundation for Africa's Tax Dialogue, Dominic Nab emphasized the importance of these initiatives in ensuring fiscal stability beyond 2026. Tax analysts noted as Ghana moves closer to the end of IMF support, the success of domestic revenue mobilization will be critical for the country's economic resilience and its ability to fund key projects without relying on external factors. Economic analyst Emmanuel Barton says Ghana is poised for a significant rise in fixed investment, driven largely by the strong performance of services sector and growth opportunities in digital innovation and public-private partnerships. Speaking on Business Breakfast on Zed, Mr. Boateng explained that recent data show the services sector expanding by an impressive 9.9% in the second quarter of the year, far outpacing other sectors of the economy. He highlighted finance, insurance, trade, and education as the major contributors to this growth. Mr. Boateng noted that beyond the service sector, infrastructure development such as roads, energy, telecoms, and public facilities hold significant potential for investment if Ghana effectively leverages public-private partnerships.
You know, fixed investment is poised for a pickup after the state analysis. And I see the services sector leading the charge here, and especially given its recent performance. In the second quarter of this year alone, services expanded by some 9.9%, far outpacing other sectors, with strong contributions from, as I've highlighted earlier, areas of finance, areas of insurance, areas of trade, and even education. These areas are attractive because they are less capital intensive, They are less capital intensive upfront. You know, there are some areas that if you want to scale up, you need to make some huge investments in capital projects, which are sometimes extremely expensive. So the point I'm making is that these areas are generally attractive because they are less capital intensive upfront, but they offer quick returns through digital innovation and consumer demand. Beyond that, infrastructure like, say, road, energy, and telcos, etc., they could draw significant investment, especially if we leverage public-private partnerships to be able to offset the large fiscal constraints we have. Because we know time and time again that some of these capital-intensive projects, we are not able to make some good progress in there because of financing.
Yeah.
And a good model that comes in handy for us here in Ghana. Of course, we know the government has not been adopting such for many of the projects, but it is still a viable option if we are able to leverage on that public-private partnership. So it will play a key role in offsetting or in closing that financing gap.
You just heard economic analyst Emmanuel Boateng. Moving on, the Minister for Finance, Dr. Kesiel Atoforsen, has outlined a decisive new approach to safeguarding public finance, emphasizing strict accountability as the government implements recommendations from 2024 audit report. At a meeting with chief directors and senior audit officials from the ministries, department and agencies, Dr. Forsen highlighted ongoing financial waste in the public sector, warning that it continues to undermine confidence in Ghana's governance and economic stability. He noted that many of the infractions identified in past audit reports are entirely preventable and called on public sector leaders to take the issue seriously. The minister stressed the urgent need to reduce financial violations to the minimum, asserting that the country cannot afford to lose scarce national resource through avoidable breaches. Dr. Forsen also pointed to the government's stability of specialized financial and economic courts as part of a broader effort to instill discipline in public financial management. These courts are intended to prosecute breaches of financial laws swiftly and effectively, marking a new chapter in enforcing accountability across public sector. Reiterating the importance of protecting the public purse, the finance minister emphasized that responsible financial stewardship is not merely a bureaucratic requirement but a duty to every Ghanaian. He called on officials to rise to the challenge and ensure that public resources are managed efficiently, transparently, and in nation's best interest. Moving on, Chief Executive Officer of Zonda Tech Ghana Limited, Yan Yan, has made Ghana proud by winning 2 top honors at the GWM Experience Awards in Dubai: Outstanding Sales Growth in West Africa and Outstanding Distributor Manager. The awards, held at the AI Hub2 Hotel, recognized exceptional performance among distributors across Africa. Young success highlights Ghana's growing influence in the continent's automotive sector, driven by strong sales momentum and the launch of Tank 700. Speaking after the ceremony, she reaffirmed her commitment to expanding Ghana's presence in the global automobile market, investing in dealer development, workforce training, and after-sales support. Her achievement signals Ghana's rising relevance and competitiveness in the African automotive industry. Investor confidence in Ghana's short-term debt market strengthened this week, with treasury bills according to a 38.4% oversubscription. Data from the Bank of Ghana shows investors submitted 8.01 billion cedis in bids across 91-day, 182 and 364-day bills against the government's target of 5.8 billion cedis. The Treasury accepted 6.95 billion cedis, reflecting strong demand for government securities. The 91-day bill led activity with 4.90 billion cedis in bids, followed by 2.09 billion cedis for the 182-day bill and just 1.01 billion cedis for the 364-day bill. Yields moved slightly, with the 91-day rising to 11.08%, the 182-day to 12.55%, while the 364-day is to 12.70%. Government now targets 6.94 billion cedis in the next auction. And this is all for the business news. This is where we end business news. But before I go, let's take a recap of our headlines. Bank of Ghana rebalance foreign reserves, and also FDA cracks down on fake expired product, and treasury bills oversubscribed in latest auction. I am Solomon Nati. Up next is Sports Flash. Do stay with us and enjoy the rest of our show.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Ho, ho, ho. Good Park, together with the Father Campbell Foundation and the Miracle Child Foundation, is helping bring joy to the less privileged children by making their Christmas wishes come true. Children from several foundations will have written heartfelt letters to the Good Santa on December 10th at Good Park. Come, read a letter, and make your wish come true. Give a child a reason to smile this
All right, thank you very much. Let's get into what I have for you this morning. Now, today we are not just talking business, we're talking direction, we're talking clarity, and we're talking the kind of honesty every entrepreneur needs as we close the year and prepare for the next. Because the truth is that as 2025 winds down, business owners across Ghana and across the world are asking the very simple question that did our digital marketing really work? Now, a few years ago, nobody will be talking about that. You just be looking at your marketing generally. But today, we're asking ourselves, did our digital marketing really work? And how do we prepare for 2026? And you'd be amazed how many people cannot answer that question. They were busy. They were doing all kinds of things, but they weren't measuring. They posted content, but they didn't actually review the impact. They spent money, but they didn't check return on investment. And they kept doing what worked before, quote and unquote. But the world around them changed, And that brings me to a story, a very real one, a very relatable one that I want you to sit with this morning. And it's a story of Amma. Now, Amma runs a beautiful online boutique in East Legon here. And if you know these small digital stores that have carved a niche on TikTok and WhatsApp, you know what I mean. Stylish content, nice aesthetics, engaging personality, all the ingredients of a successful online brand. They're doing everything. So Amma was actually the talk of town. Now, in 2023, Amma was on fire. She was selling out almost every week. Almost every week, Amma was making sales. TikTok pushed their videos without her even trying. And that's one thing that I've learned about TikTok. They pushed their video without her even trying. Influencers mentioned her for free. And every post she uploaded went straight into the For You page for Instagram and all of that. And because everything looked good, she assumed she understood digital marketing. So she kept doing what she wanted to do. She didn't review her numbers. She didn't study what type of content performed best. She didn't track where her customers were coming from. She didn't ask herself what exactly worked this year and what didn't. So when 2024 came, Amma simply repeated 2023. She was just doing exactly what she's been doing. Same posting style, same promotion strategy, same influencer, same budget, same thinking. And for the first 3 months, she convinced herself everything was fine because sales were okay. First 3 months of 2024. But by mid-2024, the cracks started showing. Engagements dropped gradually. Video views actually declined. Influencer posts no longer converted. A competition were experimenting with AI product photography, doing WhatsApp automation, using chatbots to answer customers immediately and retargeting people who abandoned their carts. Meanwhile, Amma was doing the exact same thing she did the year prior. Now, by the end of 2024, she realized she had spent money on strategies that no longer worked. She could not answer basic questions like which platform actually brings me the most customers, what kinds of content brings me the highest return, which influencers are draining my budget, which products gain traction, where exactly did I waste my money? She couldn't answer these basic questions. And the painful truth is that this only hit her in November, towards the end of 2024. Amma wasn't struggling because business was tough. She wasn't struggling because she didn't stop to review. She assumed, she repeated, she reacted, but she didn't plan. And that's exactly what happened. And that is what cost her a full year of slow sales and all of that. Now, her competitors didn't have better clothes. They simply had better strategy. They reviewed their 2023 numbers. They watched how platforms evolved in early 2024 and positioned themselves for the shift happening in 2025 and 2026. Now, the shift toward AI personalized marketing, customer segmentation, predictive content, smarter spending, these are the things I'm talking about. And so by December, Amma had lost nearly 40% of her customer base, not because she wasn't skilled, but because she wasn't intentional. And I want that to sink in for a moment. Now, digital marketing is not guesswork. At least if I don't know anything, I know that digital marketing is not guesswork. I've tried digital marketing. I used to handle stuff around digital marketing and all that. So I understand some of these things. Now, if you don't review, you will assume. If you don't plan, you will repeat your mistakes. If you don't study the platforms, they will leave you behind. And that is a reality. Now, 2026 will not reward the loudest brand. It will reward the most strategic brand. Because digital marketing is no longer about who posts the most. It's no longer about who posts consistently. Yesterday, somebody was sharing something with me. He made a post on TikTok, just a random post. And he's doing like, he's not consistent there, but anytime he comes to post, the things are doing well. You know, like, so there's strategy around some of these things. And I'm saying that digital marketing is no longer about who posts the most. It's about who understands what the audience wants, or who understands their audience the most. That's exactly what it is about. Who interprets their own data the most, who adapts the fastest, who plans the smartest. So those are some of the things that we ought to be looking at. As we've been studying trends, speaking to analysts and reviewing reports, one truth actually keeps appearing is the fact that most Ghanaian businesses don't have a clear digital marketing review process. So you ask them, how did your digital channels perform this year? They cannot answer. What's brought you the most customers? Then they give you silence. What content gave you the highest return? Then they get into guesswork. Where did you waste your money? They are not too sure. So we are entering a season where social media is changing rapidly. TikTok's algorithm is shifting. Instagram is pushing more search-based content. AI is becoming the backbone of personalized marketing. Customer patience is shorter. Competition is fiercer. Attention spans are smaller. In 2026, trust me, you can't afford to go in blind. And this is what I've researched and found. I'm going to break it down in simple language. We're going to break it down in simple language when we get into our roundtable discussion. My guests will actually give us a lot of the detail, because that is actually what this conversation is meant for. We're going to get into a deeper dive that is enough for you to start thinking about. So we're going to look at what exactly review means, and then we'll talk about some of the things along those lines. We are seeing new emerging trends. I don't want to mention all of them because, as always, I don't want to give too much away. But what I know is that 2026, digital marketing will not favor the just post and pray strategy. No, it will favor businesses that actually pay attention, the ones that review. And so we're going to talk about how to review and how to prepare ahead of 2026, how to probably review the 2025 digital performance, the red flags you should watch out, the 2026 trends that will shape your revenue, how to position your business ahead of the competition, the practical steps, the simple, clear, doable ones to actually help you plan smarter and not harder. Now, if you've ever felt you are posting blindly, spending blindly, or moving without direction, if you've ever wondered why some small business grow consistently while others struggle, or if you simply want to make 2026 your most strategic digital year, then I believe that you don't want to miss this particular conversation. So please stay tuned. Make sure that you stick and stay. You don't go anywhere, because in a few moments we're going to break everything down with our panel. My guest this morning. We're talking about the trends, the tools, the mindset, the mistakes, and the positioning you need for 2026. And this conversation is not just information. For me, I believe it's your advantage for the year for the year ahead. So please do well to stick and stay. This is Business Breakfast on Zed, and that will be all for our business brief segment. Up next is Transport Today with Solomon Tetenate. Please stay tuned.
This is the pre-boarding announcement for flight 3728.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, thank you very much. Solomon Tetenate is ready to bring us transport today this morning. Solo, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you, my brother?
Yeah, I'm doing very good. What about you?
Yeah, I'm well too, by God's grace.
Oh, we thank God for life.
We're back again.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, tell us what you have for us today.
All right. So this is transport today, bringing you the pulse of the roads and the latest from our airports. Stay tuned for your essential traffic tips, local flight information, and what's making headlines in the aviation. But I'm starting with the flight schedules for today, and I'm starting with Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. So Passion Air Accra to Kumasi morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m., and 11:20 a.m. 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m., and 11:20 a.m. Afternoon schedules are 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. And then the evening schedule is at 7:20 p.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Takoradi Passion Air morning schedule is at 6:20 a.m. and then afternoon schedule is at 4:20 p.m. Morning schedule 6:20 a.m. and then afternoon schedule 4:20 p.m. and it takes 50 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Sunyani Passion Air has only one flight available for the day at 9:10 a.m. 9:10 a.m. and it takes 1 hour to get to your destination. Today, there's no flight available for Accra to Wa, Passion Air Accra to Wa. There's no flight available for the day, so you should take note of that. Accra to Tamale, Passion Air Accra to Tamale morning schedule is at 6 a.m. and then afternoon schedules are 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. Morning schedule 6 a.m., afternoon schedules 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. and it takes 1 hour 20 minutes to get to your destination. So that's the flight schedules for Passion Air. Now Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m. and 9:40 a.m. 6:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m. and 9:40 a.m. Afternoon schedules are 2:10 p.m. and then the evening schedule is at 7 p.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Takoradi morning schedule 6:40 a.m. and then afternoon schedules are 12:20 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. 12:20 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. It takes 40 minutes as well to get to your destination. Now Accra to Tamale Africa World Airlines morning schedules are 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and then afternoon schedules are 12:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. 12:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. So these are the local flight schedules for today. Now let's look at the traffic situation in town. And today I'm coming to you from Kaswa. So on the Kaswa Road, especially where the West Hills Mall is located, there's traffic spotted around that area. So you should take note of that if you are using the Kaswa Road. So currently at the Broadcasting taxi rank, heading towards the Blue Lodge Guest House, there is massive traffic on the stretch as we speak. If you are from Kaswa heading towards the West Hills Mall, you are going to experience traffic right from where the Blue Lodge Guest House is located all the way to where the Broadcasting taxi rank is located. So you should take note of that if you are using the Kaswa Road. That's the traffic update for you today. And also on the same stretch at German, you are going to also experience traffic at where the Super Safe is located on the same Kaswa stretch, heading towards Malam Junction. So you should take note of that if you are still using Kaswa Road right from West Hills Mall to Malam Junction. You are going to experience traffic at this spot that I've mentioned. So you should take note of that. And there's also traffic on the Gbawi Road. There's traffic at on the Gbawi Road at where the Link Exchange Forest Bureau is located, heading towards the Consolidated Bank Ghana on the Gbawi Road. So you should take note of that. And that's very close to Malam Junction. So you should take note if you are using that stretch at the moment, or if you are to use that stretch, there's traffic on that stretch currently. So you should take note of that. And there's also traffic on the Kokroko Road. Kokroko Road, there's traffic on that stretch. Heading towards the Liberty Grace Life Chapel, Awushi branch, there's traffic on the Kokroko Road. So you should take note of that. If you are from the Praise Motors heading towards the Liberty Chapel, you are going to experience traffic on the stretch. So you should take note of that. There's also traffic spotted on the Anya Awushi Road. Very, very busy at the moment on the Anya Awushi Road. So if you are using that route, you should take note of that. Right from where the Victory Bible Church headquarters is located, all the way to where his Royal Vico Hotel is located on the Enya Awushi Road. There's massive traffic on the stretch as we speak, so you should take note of that if you are using the Enya Awushi Road. And also at Odoko, there's traffic on the Dr. Bushia Highway. Dr. Bushia Highway, there's traffic on the stretch as we speak, so you should also take note of that at Odoko. So that's the traffic update for you around that area. And also at MTN office, Dakuma Junction, there's also traffic at MTN office Dakuma Junction, so you should take note of that. If you're at Dakuman heading towards the MTN office, there's traffic currently at that area. So that's the traffic update for you today. Now let's look at some stories trending in the aviation sector. So working document ready, Ghana prepares to engage investors for new national airline. So the government has formally developed a business model and operational framework to guide engagement with strategic investors for the re-establishment of a national airline. So the disclosure was included in the recent report of the Road and Transport Committee of Parliament on the 2026 budget estimates for the Ministry of Transport. So the document represents the most concrete milestone yet in Ghana's effort to resurrect a home-based flag carrier nearly 2 decades after the collapse of previous state-owned airlines. It signals that Ghana is now ready to move from planning to serious investor outreach. So the foundation for this move was laid earlier in 2025 when the government inaugurated a 10-member national airline task force under the chairmanship of Mr. Charles Asare, a former managing director of Ghana Airports Company Limited.
Good news.
Yeah, so this is very good news for Ghana, and we hope that this will come to reality as we anticipate investors to come on board for us to resurrect our airline again. So that's from the Ghana Aviation. And also Emirates has introduced a new product, the Emirates Asia Pass, designed to make exploring Southeast Asia easier, more flexible, and more affordable for travelers arriving from across the world, including Ghana. So the new travel solution allows passengers to book and manage up to 10 intra-Asia flights using a single ticket, eliminating the hassle of securing multiple bookings on different airlines. So the Emirates Asia Pass covers travel across Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia, Singapore, and Laos, giving passengers the freedom to build personalized itineraries and revisit destinations as desired. So the initiative is set to appeal especially to Ghanaians who transit Dubai to Southeast Asia for tourism, business, education, and religious trips. So this and the Ghana prepares to engage investors for the new national airline are the stories trending in the aviation sector this morning. And thank you so much, Ni, for hosting me.
All right, thank you very much. Solomon Tetenate is my colleague, and he brought us transport today this morning. We're going to get into our market trend segment with Emmanuel Boateng, in-house economic analyst, very soon. But we'll take a quick music break, and then when we return, we get into all of that. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. was Minister Seth with some good high life music right there. Anyway, gospel high life, really, yes. So that was that. Anyway, I have some good news for you. If you're ready to step into your dream home, then Lakeside Estate has got an exclusive offer for you. And with this offer, you can own your own house in just 2 years. Yes, you heard me right, just 2 years with no interest repayment at all. Now, this offer gives you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes and lifestyle choice, and you get to choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of Lakeside Hills clusters. Yes, you heard me right. So your future awaits. Just imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. And as a CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. And all you have to do is to call us today on 020-477-5042, 020-477-5042, or 020-477-5040, 020-477-5040, or 050-1418-622, 050-1418-622. And don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour of our available homes. Lakeside Estates, quality home for all. Also this Christmas, you can be a good Santa. Yes, a good Santa. Now, Good Park, together with the Father Campbell Foundation and Miracle Child Foundation, is bringing joy to street-connected children and unserved youth through the Good Santa program. Now, here's how it works. Children from these foundations have written letter to the Good Santa, sharing their Christmas wishes, things that they want to get this Christmas. Now, on Wednesday, December 10, exactly, that's tomorrow, at Good Park, volunteers will read these letters and adopt a wish, making those dreams come true for the children. Now, we invite you, our cherished listeners, to join in on December 10th. You can adopt a letter, spread love, and be a part of this heartwarming celebration. And let's show love to these children and let them know that Christmas is truly about giving, caring, and community. And you can follow Good Park. Good is spelled G-H-U-D, Good Park, on all social media platforms to stay updated and become a good Santa today, because every single child deserves a reason to smile this season. So please make sure you put a smile on somebody's face by being at Good Park tomorrow at exactly tomorrow is the 10th of December, and you can pass by Good Park here, grab a letter, read through, and see what you can purchase or you can provide for any of these children that have made those wishes. So that will be, so we're going to get into our market trend segments very soon. Emmanuel Boateng, like I said, will be joining me very soon for today's conversation. But please enjoy this one, and we'll be right back.
Rabbi, Menyumo, Yatoma Unkua. What can you need? What did Kunimo? What did Kunimo? Now we'll sure we Yesua. What shall you know? Moa Yesua, Moa Dinina, Asumibo, Asumibo, Asumibo. Senya, Senya, Menina. Nasa what Yesua, what shall you know? What shall you know? Say what Yesua, and what Dinina, Asumbo. My crado said, Meneo Bakwa Himemo, Akodi Rusi, Meneo Bakwa Himemo, and the Jewa Ho, Meneo Bakoda, Meneo Bakwa Himemo, my crado said, Meneo Bakwa Himemo, Akodi Rusi, Meneo Bako, Meneo Bako, Meneo Bako, Meneo Bako. Everybody say, I remember. Hey, I remember. I remember. I need you. mojemua oni minenam minamosumua Yesu akami wo wasemi bo orinjam yo semina mojemua Yesu kabimu mpoa minamosumua Yesu akami wo wasemi bo Orijamio da kovie Orijamio da Chelsea Orijamio da Sawana motemwa ye muna One mene namo Okami wo Oba metirido Okami wo Oba metirido Mojemua, on the minanam, Minamosumua, Messiah Kami wo, Wasami bo, Orinjamio, da, Samina Mojemua, on the minanam, Samina Mosuma, Yesu Kami wo. Oye tete botai nyame onayo kra oye ye mi nyame onayo kra onayo oye tete botai mi nyame onayo kra eche sedena obebe mo oye Onayo,
All right, welcome back to the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM, exactly 20 minutes after 8. And we get into our market trend segment this morning. The song in the background is Ayinyum by Joe Metal featuring Ohima Messi. Well, yesterday we began unpacking fixed solutions outlook that Ghana's economy is expected to grow by 5.9% in 2026. Taking a close look at the factors that are driving this projection. We spoke from inflation easing to improving consumer confidence, investment inflows, and the impact of monetary policy. And today we continue the conversation by digging deeper into the structural constraints, the sector by sector opportunities, and the risks that could actually either strengthen or weaken this growth outlook. And we'll also look at what all of this means for businesses and the everyday Ghanaian. Let's pick it up from where we left off with our in-house economic analyst, Emmanuel Boateng. Ima, good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
How are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing very well, by God's grace. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well too, by God's grace. I thank God for your life. All right.
Thank God for you.
Thank you very much. All right, so let's get into our conversation this morning. So yesterday we touched on quite a number of things. Today, I want us to also continue looking at some of the other things that we can touch on with regards to this particular focus. So maybe first of all, specifically, how might how might global conditions, economic conditions, because I know usually when it comes to things like this, these projections, global economic conditions actually affect us in one way or the other in terms of commodity prices, interest rate cuts, and geopolitical risks. How might those conditions actually influence our growth prospects in 2026?
Thank you very much. I think I lost you for a while, so I didn't fully hear the question.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. I'm asking that I know sometimes these global conditions actually affect some of these projections, and I'm asking how might conditions such as commodity prices, interest rates cuts, and even geopolitical risks influence our growth prospects in 2026?
All right, and thank you very much, and good morning to all our cherished listeners, and for joining us in this discussion this morning. Actually, I think that these are important factors, important external factors that ought to be examined, and indeed, you are right to put it across because it has a significant impact on prospects. How does it affect our growth prospects? It affects it by affecting our revenue. Largely, usually, Ghanaian economy, whatever the case is dependent on exports, and there are some export revenues that we earn. Not only that, but we also do import. We import a number of items. So when you look at our export-import performance, it has implications for our group. Now, the point is that if our exports, the prices of our exports go up, it is a positive news for us. But if they come, our export revenues going to reduce.
Hello? Hello, Ima? All right.
Yeah.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we lost you for a few seconds.
Global conditions undoubtedly shape our trajectory, even though the state outlook focuses more on domestic drivers. You see, commodity prices are very important for us, from gold to cocoa to oil, among others. Because then impact growth positively beyond the 5.9% that has been taken. And it will help us to be able to fund our investment, stabilize our CD, and do some other things. But volatility could hurt, especially if global demand reduces. You know, if global demand reduces, it has an impact on price. It has an impact on how much you're able to, as it were, export as well. And therefore, would limit or reduce your export revenue significantly.
Right.
And that is it. Interest rate cuts, for instance, in major economies like the U.S., as we have explained time and time again, or even in Europe, it might ease capital flows to emerging markets like ours, and that will lower borrowing costs and support fixed investment. But actually, that is not all. It's not all good news. On the flip side, geopolitical risk. Think of trade tensions or conflict disrupting supply chains. I'm sure very recently we heard about what was happening with VAT from the U.S., etc., etc. That plays a key role in spiking energy prices, leading to inflation, derailing our consumption-led recovery. And we saw that. So we are somewhat impacted by our services sector dominance. But it doesn't mean that our external shocks have left us. No, our external shocks could actually amplify domestic challenges like fiscal pressures. We ought to therefore monitor these because a favorable global backdrop could even push us higher. But where there are risks and volatility, it will tilt us towards a place where we don't want to be, warranting us to be very cautious. So yes, they play a key role.
But we have to be very cautious, right?
Yes,
because those are things that we cannot control directly.
Yes, these are things that are not within the confines of our economy. So the impact they have on us are not things that you can do. You can't stop it. It will come. But like I always say, how much can an external person influence you if you have a stronger influence on yourself?
Right.
In other words, how resilient are you on your own, such that when there are storms and headwinds from other places, you are well insulated from it? That's very key. And that is why domestic factors have to be the focus, has to be the nation has to. I don't think the impact will be that dire on us.
I see. Now, also, Fetch forecast actually suggests only a marginal expansion. What structural issues continue to hold us back from posting stronger, maybe even above 7% growth rates?
Thank you very much for this question. The marginal nature of this forecast, edging up just from 5.8% to 5.9%, really underscores persistent structural hurdles in our reliance on commodity economy, which in itself exposes us to price swings and limits our diversification efforts or abilities. These are the infrastructure deficits. I'm sure when we started, my network was not too good because I was in a car and I'm in some parts of Ghana. It will interest you to note that we have huge impact. I was just saying to myself, look at our roads. That is a huge deficit. I think one of our major deficits is not just energy, but even our roads as well. So infrastructure deficit, energy issues, productivity issues across key sectors. These are all issues or areas we are exposed to as a result of our reliance on commodities. But if we want to use commodities to fix that, unfavorable conditions will not allow us to. So then there is this skill gap in our workforce, which slows our ability to innovate in high-value areas like technology or advanced manufacturing. When we get into that literature, artificial intelligence, digitization, technology, etc., etc., I don't think we'll find any Ghanaian innovator in there. So that space, we've not even found ourselves there. So we must be able to fill that skill gap so that we can drive the market. You know, it's interesting that it looks as though we are always lagging. We are not leading in anything. And that is a big problem for us. That is something that we ought to fix. We have to necessarily fix that challenge. Now, fiscal consolidation, while that is important, it adds to this issue by constraining our public investment. Yesterday, I remember I was talking about fiscal consolidation and how we don't have enough space to be able to spend on some important projects. So you look at our over-reliance on commodities for the growth of our economy, in addition to our infrastructure deficit, unreliable energy supply, hamper productivity, our inability to innovate due to skill gap, you add fiscal consolidation to that. In fact, you can even add bureaucratic red tape that deter foreign direct investment, for instance. And you see why we are not breaking out of that cycle. The services sector is a bright spot, but even there, we need better digital infrastructure. Addressing these through reforms like improving education, improving skill training, streamlining regulation, investing in renewable energy, all of these are reforms that are needed to be able to unlock faster growth. But trust me, until then, we are capped at this steady but unspectacular pace, which does not help our economy at all.
So we have to deal with these issues before we can be able to push stronger.
Precisely.
All right. Anyway, our services sector here in Ghana has been a key growth driver in recent years. Do you expect that to continue leading the expansion? I mean that to continue leading the expansion in 2026?
Absolutely. I mean, I fully expect the service sector to remain the engine of growth in the coming years, building on the last performance as we have seen. In the second quarter of this year, it grew by 9.9% year-on-year. That's a massive leap from the 2% that we saw in the previous year, largely driven by finance, insurance, trade, education, and what have you. It isn't a fluke. I don't think so. I think it's fueled by digital adoption. It's fueled by some high level of urban expansion we've seen, and the inflation drop that is freeing up space for spending. All of that have played a key role in driving the service sector growth by 9.9% that we've seen. Now, you see, with private consumption set to rise after the Fitch projection, services like retail and financial tech should thrive inadvertently. And I'm saying this to buttress the fact that I believe that absolutely is going to still be the bright spot for us in the coming year. That's it. It could face headwinds from a firmer city affecting tourism or remittances, you know, a slow credit growth that limits business expansion. But overall, I think it's resilient. Assets were less vulnerable to weather or commodity shocks. I mean, it is not affected by these things. The positions is to lead, unlike agriculture or industry, that these commodity issues, weather and the like, can affect them. You know, services is not like that. Therefore, I believe strongly that it's positioned to lead, and it will potentially contribute over half to our overall GDP growth. We need policy support, like easing regulations for fintech, to be able to keep up with the momentum, or to keep the momentum going.
I see, but what risk do you think could actually derail the 5.9% projection?
And thank you very much. I think there are a number of risks that I can highlight. The first is that domestic issues. I think let me start from there. You know, several risks could throw us off track from that 5.9% mark. But I must even say that for me, I think that in the coming year, growth will be more than 5.9%. I don't want to say I want to challenge you to notice somewhere that it's going to happen. It's going to be more than 5.9%, in my opinion.
I see.
I mean, and what the data are seeing, and some consistency, policy coordination, and the efforts that are being put out by the government. I think that this 5.9% may be a good bench, but I know our true performance and the outcome will be positive. There's going to be a positive there, so we'll do better than the 5.9. And of course, let me start from the domestic issues. Weather issues. Erratic rains that affect our cocoa or food production is one, because, that could spike inflation. And, once inflation spikes or goes up, it feeds into our broader growth. But not only would that erratic rainfall pattern affect food production by spiking inflation, it could also affect rural consumption. And once consumption is coupled with increased inflation, it will play a key role in adversely impacting growth. The other one has to do with energy disruption, which is a perennial issue in this country. It might stall industrial output and services if we face power outages. So energy disruptions is also a major barrier. Then externally, we can look at issues like financing constraints. I think they will also play a big. It's very big for us because when you look at our budget, because we look at our budget, we look at our tax revenue and how it's able to support our planned expenditure. You realize that all that is left has to be borrowed, whether from the domestic market and external market, external financiers, as you call them, the World Bank, the IMF, etc., etc. That also plays a key role. So if global market spikes, for instance, or our debt restructuring is planned, then access to funds could dry up, and that will exacerbate fiscal pressure. You see, the report implicitly nods to these by tempering optimism with factors like low credit pass-through, among other things. And that is why, for me, I think external financing is also a major constraint for us. I think there are other ones.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, since you're going to mention other ones, and my question doesn't hold, but I wanted to know, because all the things that you mentioned weather shocks, energy supply disruptions, and external financing. All of these things are things we can't control down here. I don't know whether what you're about to mention are things we can control.
The domestic ones are what you can control. External financing you cannot control.
Exactly. And even the weather shocks, we can't control that, can we?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Arguably, maybe, because the weather pattern in here, so we can't change what the weather should be.
Exactly.
But you can prepare yourself in view of the weather.
Right.
So, this is when it will rain. What do you do? This period, there will be no rain. How do you still yield your harvest? But that's how I look at it.
Right, but these days, because of climate change, we are unable to predict. It's sometimes raining in March. It's dry in months that we are ordinarily expectant of some rains and all of that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So that's why I'm saying that it's quite difficult to control. But anyway, you can go ahead.
Our record on climate change is not that bad. Anyway, I agree with you. But, well, of course, there are issues. Rising oil prices, global slowdown, among the ones we discussed in the previous session. These are all disruptions that could happen to us. But there is a way out, and that is to mitigate them. And it includes building stronger buffers, like strong reserves. We are doing 4.8 months of import cover now. That is important. Diversified energy sources, diversifying our exports. But if we are hit by multiple risks, then we could flip to maybe below 5% territory. But, of course, we also need fiscal discipline to continue. Because there are many people who have made the argument that in every government, the first year is like that. You see stellar performance, improved performance, among others. It is after the first year that we start seeing mismanagement, fiscal indiscipline, to name a few. And for me, that is why I think that momentum also has to continue. Because when you start spending along areas that are not growth intent, that would not regenerate income, then we start moving into a certain habit that is as it were, inimical to growth. So for me, that also plays a role. What are the priorities of government? What are the financing sources? Is government committed to spending within its means? Is government committed to staying true to its program? Is government committed to spending along growth enhancing sectors of the economy? Is that the answer to that question is yes. Then I think that nothing stops us from reaching this 5.9% growth mark and even going beyond that. So for me, yeah, it's a yes. We need to be vigilant. We need some contingent planning, and we need to be very careful in the coming year. Like I always say, the day you say that we are healthy, strong, and mighty, perhaps that is the day we start falling. Okay.
All right. So how should businesses interpret this growth forecast? What opportunities or adjustments should they be preparing for? And for me, this is a very important question.
Very important. Yeah. And for me, I think that if I'm a business owner today, I'll look at this as a signal of steady recovery. See, I'm saying so because, you see, it's positive, but it's not explosive. So I'd rather plan for moderate expansion than for boom time. And there are areas where the opportunities will emerge. There are clear areas where opportunities will emerge. One of which is consumer-facing sectors. You know, we think inflation easing. Now, once inflation is easing, it's likely that spending will go up. See that? So there's a big opportunity in the Ghanaian consumer. Inflation is falling fast, so people will have more money in their pocket next year. So if you are in retail, if you are in food and beverages, if you are in financial services, if you are in mobile money, if you are in logistics, or even private education and healthcare, demand is coming your way. Get your stock, get your staff, and your digital platforms ready now. At the same time, prepare for two realities. First is government spending. That will stay tight because of fiscal consolidation. So don't bank on public contracts per se. You know, second, because the city is expected to remain relatively firm and stable, importers will enjoy lower costs. But exporters, especially in the area of cocoa, gold, horticulture, and the rest, will feel the squeeze on margins. So you can hedge your forex if you can. And, you know, the bottom line is this: expand cautiously, focus on the domestic market, cut down on unnecessary costs, and invest in anything that touches the Ghanaian consumer. Because for me, the Ghanaian consumer is going to be the focal point, because I see the gains that have been made passing down onto the ultimate consumer. That's where the money will flow into the
Right. Okay, so maybe finally, just before we go, for ordinary households, what does 9.5% projected growth rate mean in real terms? Will Ghanaians feel this improvement in their pockets?
Let me speak directly to the market woman in KGTR, to the teacher in Tamale, the first driver in Accra, the young graduate who is looking for work, and the NSS guy who just started NSS and is not too sure what is going to happen to him after he doesn't mind. 5.9% growth won't make anyone rich overnight, but it will make life noticeably easier than the past 3 painful years that we've gone through. And here's what you should see in 2026. Food prices and transport fares should rise much more slowly because inflation is coming down sharply. In fact, for transport fares, I think in the past 6 or 7 months or so, we've seen consistent deflation in transport fares. The other thing I want you to pay close attention to is more jobs, especially in trading, in construction, hospitality, and then the digital economy. I say this on the back of what we see in the budget, and the services sector that almost grew at 10% this year will keep creating more opportunities. So you can look in there and innovate around those lines. If you have a loan or you are planning to borrow for a small business or a house, interest rates should be friendlier than they've been in a very long time. You see? So these are the point that I'll put out there. With every single person, the point is, well, let me rephrase that. Will every single person feel it the same way? I don't think so. And I say that because perhaps not yet. rural areas and farmers that are dependent on rainfall may still struggle if the rains fail. But for the majority of the people, especially for the majority of the people in the cities and towns, yes, your city will stretch further. Your salary will buy more. But I even pray that your employers will increase it and there will be more work available.
Right.
So to the ordinary Ghanaian, the storm is passing. Keep pushing, keep saving, keep building, because 2026 is shaping up to be the year the economy finally starts working for you again.
All right, Ima, thank you very much. Maybe your final words and then we can go.
Oh, thank you, and I'm very much too. It's been great having this conversation. I think Ghana is generally in the corner. We've been through fire, high prices, a weak city, tough choices. But the numbers now tell a different story. Inflation is falling fast. Growth is back around 6% this year. And credible forecasts say we'll stay strong through 2026. And I'm talking about Fit Solutions. This is not the time to relax, but it is the time to believe again. I'm just trying to inspire hope into the ordinary Ghanaian, to the trader, to the teacher, to the driver, the student, the farmer, whoever it is. The daily hustle is starting to pay off. The economy is healing because of the sacrifices you make and the policies that are finally working. Keep the faith, keep working hard, spend wisely, and supporting one another. Because when 2026 comes, and that 5.9% growth shows up in more jobs, in lower prices, and brighter opportunities, you will know you were part of the comeback. Ghana is fighting again, and this time we are building it to last. God bless all of us. God bless Ghana, and good morning to everyone who stayed tuned with us.
All right, thank you very much, Ima. Please do enjoy the rest of your day. I'm really grateful for your time and for the insights you shared with us. All right. Okay, so that was Emmanuel Boateng, in-house economic analyst, and he joined me this morning for market trend segment. We've been talking about the growth projection by Fitch Solutions. Fitch actually projects that our economy will grow by 5.9% in 2026, and we're looking at how realistic it is. We talked about that yesterday. Today we touched on what elements or what factors actually can derail the progress they are projecting for us, and so that is something that is very important. If you miss any part of this conversation, you can visit our social media platforms. We're on YouTube and Facebook at ZFMGH. You can visit those platforms and play it back. So that will be all for our market trend segment, but it's a very interactive show. If you have any birthday wishes, if you have any message, you can send it to me on 0544-321019, 0544-321019. You can as well call me on 03039-56641, 03039-56641, and then I will give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with us this morning. We're talking about digital marketing on a roundtable discussion. My guest will be joining me very soon for this one, and we're talking about digital marketing, how you can review your 2025, and also what to expect in 2026. That is a very important conversation to have, because many people do not plan their digital marketing. They just go with the flow, or sometimes they say, this is how I did it last year and it worked, and so let me do the same thing next year. If you do that this time around, you might not be able to get the revenue that you need. So what exactly are the new trends to look out for? We'll be talking about that when we get into our roundtable discussion this morning with our economic analyst, with our guest for today. He's a marketing comms and tech guru. I'll introduce him shortly, but let's take a quick music break, and then when we return, we get into that. Please don't go anywhere. right, welcome back to the Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Nee Trebi Hammond. And this morning we get into our market trends. Sorry, did I say market trends? We're getting into a roundtable discussion. And like I indicated a while ago, we're talking about digital marketing today, how you can review your 2025 and also position yourself or your business for 2026. It's a very important conversation. As we're trying to wrap up this year, many business owners are actually asking themselves the same questions. Did our digital efforts actually work? And more importantly, how do we position ourselves for a stronger 2026? And that's why we're having this conversation this morning. I'm joined in studio by a marketing guru. I like to call him that. Somebody the marketing and Advertisers Association actually calls a marketing evangelist. His name is Stephen Nase Budi. I personally call him Uncle Nase. Good morning. You're welcome.
Thank you, Nee. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you too?
I'm good. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to have you too. I think the last time we spoke was somewhere, I think maybe March.
Earlier in the year.
This year, yes. Thanks so much for coming back.
That's right.
And today we're talking about digital marketing, how to review your 2025 and also position yourself for 2026. Maybe for starters, today we see that a lot of businesses actually get into digital marketing. Right now everybody's online, so let me also go online. What do you have to say about that? Let's start from there.
All right, thank you very much. You're right. Digital is mainstream now. So almost every business, from small one-man businesses to big businesses, are all online.
Yeah.
Among the reasons is the fact that it's easier to get online now. Once you have a phone, there's so many apps, so many tools. So you don't really need an agency. So everybody's online. But that in itself is a problem, because being online doesn't mean that you're doing the right things or you're being successful. I often put it this way: activity is not equal to success.
Activity is
not equal to success.
Wow.
There are a lot of people busy online, amassing numbers, thousands of followers, all sorts. But what does it mean? If I can put it this way, marketing, the role of marketing in every business is to drive business success. Okay. So if your social media or digital marketing is not delivering the success that the business is set up to achieve, then you are kind of like tickling yourself.
All right.
And I've seen it all over. Even, let me say this, I do a lot of work across the continent, African. Sometimes even when you're talking to bankers, senior level, they reduce it to like a league table. Which bank has the most followers? Which bank has 1 million? They have 1 million, we have whatever. We are more active on Twitter. We are more active on, but what does it mean? If it's a bank, does it lead to more deposits being mobilized?
Right.
Does it mean to more profitability and all those things? And that's where I wanted to start from. Same with your small business, you're running, let's say, a cake shop. Is your social media leading to more inquiries, people placing more orders for birthday cakes? It's not about being out and people giving you likes.
Right.
It's about the phone ringing and people placing orders. So that's the foundation.
But you see a trend where many people are just online and
just online because it's become trendy, it's become mainstream. I mean, it's very easy for you to be asked the second question after asking you what's the name of your business, for them to ask you what's your social media handle. Then, so I mean, it's something you want to have.
Right.
That in itself is not wrong, but to what end? And that's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So why is it important, or why do you see that particular trend anyway? What do you think is the reason why people are just active online and not necessarily?
I think it's because we have a very high digital penetration. Okay. Let me use this example. Many years ago, I mean, when I came back in the early 2010s, busy internet was a big place. That's where every business person went to go and network, to go and get stuff done. Internet cafes were on our streets. They were very common.
Yeah.
Today, everybody has a smartphone, or most people have smartphones. Very high smartphone penetration in Ghana, close to 90%. So people can easily get online.
Yeah.
WhatsApp alone, especially WhatsApp business, it's a whole marketing agency. So you see people running all sorts. So it's very easy for people to start doing those things. And they copy from what their friends and their peers are doing. Plus, because it's easy to start getting online doing digital marketing,
Right.
or supposed to, or pretend to be doing digital marketing, people don't go to agencies anymore. Well, it costs to hire an agency, and not every business can afford an agency.
True.
Yeah. But the point we're making is that if you're going to do it, we're not saying don't do it, but let's do the right things. And that's why we're having this conversation.
Right. Very, very, very important. So let's continue. But just before we get into the review conversation, what are the biggest misconceptions you see in our digital marketing space here in Ghana?
One of the first ones is that digital is free. It's free to get online, but it's not free to get results. Let me explain this. So it's free to just create a Facebook page, these days with AI tools, you can easily create a website within 10 minutes and put it out there. It will cost you, let's say, a domain name costs you about $20, and a bit of hosting. You might even get free hosting. So it's very easy to create the platforms, get your friends and family to follow you. But managing it to get results is the real deal. It's the real business. I put it this way. It's very easy to create a Facebook post, for example, but the real work starts after you've posted. The community management is the real work, because people start asking questions and you need to, it's like nurturing them. It's like leading them on from just liking your post to getting to a point where they begin to place business,
right,
and retaining them. And that's the challenge. And people think that is free. It's not free. It's a competitive space. So we say it's pay to play.
Pay to play.
By that, what I mean is that if you do it free, you won't get the mileage that you want.
Okay.
But because these platforms are not free, so you need to pay to be able to play at the level where you want to play with the big boys. So it's pay to play. That also doesn't mean that you should put all your money into it. So even there are people that, we'll talk about it today. Some people say, oh, we're spending a lot on, they call it boosting our posts. We're not getting results. Media buying is, it's an art and it's a skill. So you don't just hit the blue button on Facebook and say boost post.
Okay.
You have to set objectives, manage the budget. Who are you targeting? All those things. So it's not, So media buying is a science behind media buying. So people are also making that mistake. One, they think it's free, so they're not investing money in it. This includes big businesses. If I tell you some of the big businesses, how little they are investing in digital, it will amaze you. Some are investing as little as 5% of their annual marketing budget in that, and putting the rest into billboards. And I love radio. I do radio. But you need to connect your radio to online. Because, for example, this show that we're having now, this conversation, when it ends, we want the conversation to continue beyond 10 o'clock. So we want people to engage us in the conversation beyond that. That can't happen on the radio. There'll be another show on. So we take them online. So you connect these. So you don't go and put all your money in radio, running radio ads, and not direct your audience anywhere. Okay?
Right.
So don't invest all of that. And also don't invest all in just billboards and print and stuff. What we've been doing traditionally. So you need to start increasing the budget you're putting into digital marketing. That's another mistake people are making. Number 3, a lot of businesses don't even understand that in digital marketing, you need more than one person, more than one skill to run properly. So they will go and hire somebody, say it's a social media manager. He's a creative designer. He's a videographer. He's a photographer. He's a copywriter. He's a community manager. He's a media buyer. He's a strategist. He's everything. That doesn't work. If you went and gave your account to an agency, they will dedicate more than 5 people doing different jobs. So again, a lot of businesses miss this. And I'm talking about big businesses.
Right.
I'm honored to sit on platforms, interview panels and stuff for big banks. And sometimes when people come for interviews, you listen to some of the people on the panel, their understanding of what the interviewee should bring on board is very
too much.
So we need to also, that's another mistake we make. We think that digital marketing is easy. Just any social media manager can do everything. No, that's not true. So these are just a few of them.
Right. Okay. I think we need to have a conversation on some of these things and go deeper. But let's come to our conversation this morning. We're talking about reviewing your 2025 and also positioning yourself for 2026. Why is it important for digital marketers to do review? I thought maybe the plan worked this year. We can push it for next year. Why do we have to review and also plan?
Okay, so hopefully before you do your review, you would have set some goals, some objectives at the beginning of the year. The way it works in most corporate organizations, and this week I'm doing a series on performance management. Okay, because I also do a lot of people management stuff. Yeah.
Right.
The way it works in most organizations is that at the beginning of the year, the board, sets a couple of goals, targets for the year. So, for example, if it's, let's say, your Nestle or any manufacturing company, will say this year we want to sell 10 million tons of whatever, just any numbers. We want to increase our revenue by this much. We want to increase our market penetration by 5% or whatever. So those are targets that they set.
Right.
Now, those targets are set at the top. And in every organization, every individual should contribute to those targets.
Okay.
I give this example that if you are a driver who wears a white shirt with black tie and black trousers, and you can't use Google Maps, you can't work for a bank. Because when you're working for a bank, time is money. True. You can't get people stuck in traffic in Accra. So that's where he has to contribute to even the mobilization of funds. In the same way, digital marketing should have some targets.
Right.
Should have some goals. So it's not just about, let's increase our followers by, let's say, 50,000. What do you need 50,000 people for? Because you don't want to create just a fan club. You want to create a community. You want to create a community of loyal people who will patronize your products and become loyal advocates for the brand. Do you understand what I'm saying? Same way, even radio. I'm sure your boss will tell you, by this time next year, we should increase our listenership to this number. We should increase our online listenership to this number. So those are targets that are set for you.
Yeah.
So once that is done, you need to assess it. Because if you don't know where you are at any point, you won't be able to tell where you're headed or where you should be headed next year. So you need to do this review in the course of the year, but critically, at the end of the year, do this. And then that helps you to be able to set targets for the new year.
Okay.
Because you want to grow.
Right.
Like, again, let me give this example. Even just coming here today, I knew it was 9 o'clock. I stopped somewhere to grab coffee. But I had to be mindful that by 8:45, I have to be here. It's about knowing where you are. So that's like a review. Knowing where you are so you can be able to tell, all right, am I on track? Where do I need to be next?
What do I need to do to get there?
Yeah, to get there.
Right.
And that's same with digital marketing.
So what does a typical review look like? Or what are the things that you even look at if you want to do?
Before we get into that, let me just say this. So there are a number of things that you need to really ask. I call them the 5 questions you must answer. Okay. Did you achieve your stated objectives? This is what you're going to ask yourself. So, like I said, at the beginning of the year, what did you set out to achieve? This is not just what we call vanity metrics, like number of likes and all those things. Did we trend? I often say this. You trended and then what? Trending should lead to people a lot. So a lot of women don't like Twitter, for example.
That's true.
But for your business, for example, for a news agency, Twitter is where news conversations happen. So you can't avoid Twitter. Twitter owns hashtags. So, for example, there should be a dedicated hashtag for your show.
For the show, yeah.
When you hear it, you know this is coming. So, for example, it should be a channel that's bringing you listenership. Okay? And for your show, because you're often talking about serious stuff like what we're discussing now, it's no gossip and things like that. So, even though we want to be on TikTok is not where we go and park our bus. We use TikTok as a traffic driver to drive people to come onto our website, to come onto the platforms where they come and deep dive, to come and listen to a playback of this show.
Right.
So using TikTok, for example, with the little clips, the reels, to drive traffic to, let's say, your YouTube, where people go and watch the full shows. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you need to be able to calculate and assess and identify which platforms give you the most return on investment. Okay, you need to do that. Where did your best customers come from also? Okay, one of the things we don't do in this town was elsewhere, as soon as a customer walks into every shop, walks online, first question, one of the questions they will ask before the transaction ends is, where do you hear about us? Where they want to associate every new lead with a platform.
Right.
So that you'll be able to start moving some of your budget to other channels, other platforms. Okay? So, for example, yes, we are trending on Instagram, but we get a lot of business from there. Maybe not. Maybe Yes, we're active on Facebook. Are we getting a lot of business from there? Maybe not. We need to be able to see them. And which opportunities did we miss? Where did our competitors make a lot of profit or make a lot of returns? Where did they really succeed? And we were not active. So do we need to be active there? Okay, so these are questions you need to ask yourself as you begin the review.
Right.
Go on.
I want you to mention them one more time, maybe just in case somebody's listening to us. And
so one, did you achieve your stated objectives?
Okay.
We talked about that. Beginning of the year, you should have set objectives, which throughout the year you'll be tracking. So when you come to do your review, that's what you are assessing.
Right.
Okay. What was your true cost per customer acquisition? That's number 2.
Okay.
What channels delivered real return on investment? Okay. Because you cannot be on every platform. I put it this way. Do not play the field. Okay. There are hundreds of social media platforms out there. Several activities out there, but you can't be everywhere.
Yeah.
So you need to zero in on the ones where your target audience are most active and they're looking for you.
Right.
And they're engaged in conversations that will benefit your business. Where did your best customers come from? So that's where you want to focus more of your attention. What opportunities did you miss?
Right.
Maybe you went to sleep when, let's say, all of a sudden, WhatsApp Business, a new feature was introduced and people were latching onto it. And you thought, oh no, WhatsApp is for, what do you call it, old school people and things like that. So you need to do this. At least these basic 5. Okay. If you can't answer these, you can't plan effectively for 2026. You need to answer these honestly.
Okay. So after this, what do you do?
Okay. So after this, okay, what you then do is once you have that then sets a platform for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So then by this time also, hopefully, you would have received a set of new objectives for 2026. Because even the way it should work is that if the leadership of the business have been receiving reports throughout the year, and this is again something that I often say to clients and to people, that with digital marketing, everything can be measured. So monitor, measure, and optimize performance in real time. Produce monthly reports. And here's the catch. Don't send reports, present reports. There's a big difference.
All right.
If you send reports, your management or the leaders will just look at, okay, so what are the numbers? And that's it.
That's it.
When you present the reports, you get a chance to tell the story behind the numbers and selling so that you get more support. You get more, because at the beginning of the year, they probably thought, oh, yeah, digital, let's give it a bit of money. But when you begin to present the reports, you begin to show how digital is contributing to the business, then you can make a case for more money, make a case for more resources, make a case even for, let's say, a new MacBook for your designer because things are slow for him, things like that. Okay, so if they've been following and understanding the reports, by this time in 2025, they'll have a clear idea of how well we've been doing with digital. So even before you present the annual review of 2025, they would take some of these numbers into their planning for 2026. Because at this stage where we are now, you need to have your review for the year, like we just talked about. And then also look at the objectives for the new year, which the management are going to give you. So, okay, this year we want to open 3 new branches. Okay, this year we're a restaurant. We've been serving only 500 takeaway plates a month. But we think we can scale it up to 750 by doing 1, 2, 3, by maybe changing the kind of content we have on our social media.
Right.
Let me just pause here and say that. For example, if you're a food brand, it's not about the pictures or the food, how good they look, but sometimes even telling the behind it. And also, there are a couple of challenges that people have when it comes to food. Healthy eating, okay, food wastage, okay, and also
sustainability.
And things like that. And even reducing costs and things like that. So, for example, if you're a restaurant, don't be the restaurant that serves the best jollof. Be the restaurant that helps people to achieve their healthy eating goals. There you'll be giving them value.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So by this time, you would have seen, okay, yeah, we did 500. But we think if we can make our content more compelling, people will come and buy more. So we can serve 750 plates by takeaway. Again, one of my friends is on now. I mean, a lady called Akuya. She has, how do you call it? I say a luxury brand of handbags, for example.
Right.
And we've been doing a bit of work. What you need to do is handbags, for example, are meant for a certain level. So, for example, when you see people at high-class weddings and things like that, that's the bag to be carried to that kind of wedding.
Okay.
So you need to know your target audience.
Right.
All right, is our content appealing to that type of audience? Don't talk about just any bag. You need to be able to understand the niche that you appeal to. So by this time, you would know, for example, from your review, even by looking at your online audience, your followers, how many of them are within your target market? Because sometimes there could be people who are there but cannot really afford your bags. So if you look at your demographics behind your numbers, you should be able to say that in the new year, when you're setting your new target, if you want to increase our profitability by this much, if you want to sell to other markets, for example, this bag we're talking about, for example, is a bag that I often say should be the bag that every tourist that comes to Ghana should buy and take out. So we want to target how many expats are on the platform. How many orders are we receiving from online, from different platforms? So those are the kind of things you want to look at. So as you go into the new year, these should be the kind of things that should influence your planning for the new year. So you have these two things: your review, your report for the your objectives for the new year, and then the trends, the digital marketing trends for the new year. Okay.
We'll talk about that shortly, but let me just announce the phone line just in case somebody wants to get in touch with us. So this is Business Breakfast on Zed, exactly 24 minutes after 9. And this morning we're talking about digital marketing, how you can review 2025 and project or position yourself for 2026. If you just tuned in, we just started a conversation. I mean, we're still in the first few minutes of the conversation, so you've not missed much. But you can join us, send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019. You can send your questions and your comments, and I'll read them for you right here. You can also call us on 03039566641, 03039566641. And we're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please drop a comment or a question, and I'll read that for you as well. My guest is Stephen Anase-Ebwedi. He is marketing, comms, and technology expert or consultant, and he's helping us understand exactly what to do. Right. So you've spoken about the review, but I just want to chip in this question. So looking at 2025, what did those who are successful or who were successful, let me just say 2025 is almost ending, so those who have been successful this year, what did they do differently from those who struggled this year?
Number one, they had clear objectives.
Okay.
And throughout the year, they kept reviewing the objectives and tweaking them. So, for example, if at the beginning of the year, the goal was to, let's say, launch a new product, for example, they had clear objectives, how they were going to use digital to launch a new product, for example. So they were tracking it, and they would be monitoring, So when we did it, we ran social media ads, we ran YouTube, we worked with the influencers, they did deliver results. So they did that. And then, like the 3 words I said, monitor, measure, and optimize performance. So while they were doing that, they were also tweaking the performance. So for example, these days, almost every company is working with influencers now. Hopefully, they started with the right influencers. But there's a whole process you need to go through to choose the right influencers. But you need to also track the performance of the influencers. How much are they contributing? So is it successful? You don't sign a contract with an influencer, say, for 6 months, and then you never measure what they are delivering. And that's why in the contract, there should be a clause for you to be able to exit if they are not delivering. We'll talk about that on another day.
Sure.
But the point I want to make here is that those that were successful had clear objectives, and throughout the year, they were monitoring those objectives, measuring them. Number 2, they invested the right resources. Staff, equipment, apps, all those things. They invested the right ones into digital. Number 3, they had buy-in from their. So let me put it this way: they built communities, for example.
Okay.
They had buy-in support from them. There's something I often say that your content is not as compelling as what people create about your brand. So let me put it again.
Yeah.
When your customers create content about your brand, they show how they've embraced, how they've tested your brand, tried it, and they are proud to showcase it. That's voluntary. It's not gimmick. Because when you create a content yourself, people would always assume that there's a catch somewhere.
Yeah.
But when they speak voluntarily without being paid for it, that's one. So there would something called user-generated content. So you go and buy jollof from somewhere, you try the jollof, you take a picture and you post it. They didn't ask you to do that.
Yeah.
But you have a following, and then your followers will see that and they would love it. So that's very, very compelling. So they build communities and the people, a bit like a church. The pastor doesn't go on the street to preach to everyone. But the church members, once they bought into the message of the church, they go out there on outreach.
Sure. Right.
That leads me on to something I call the power of your people. Okay, let me use this example. Since I'm a church boy, let me use this example. When ICGC has Greater Works, or when Maker's House has the experience, you, over that period of 1 month, look at the number of people who wear the yellow shirts, T-shirts. The number of people who rebrand their cars, drive around, have the stickers and all those things.
Yeah.
That's the power of your people. So the brands that were successful leverage their audience to tell their stories for them. So it costs them less.
Okay.
There's even an element of what we call now employee-generated content, where some companies are building studios, content creation studios in-house for the employees to create content.
Yes. I've seen some banks do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, you see, their friends know where they work and they will go to them for advice when it comes to financial advice, banking and all that. So why not empower them to create that kind of content? Unfortunately, where we miss it in this town is that we even launch product without doing internal launch. The product gets onto the market with a lot of people in-house not even knowing
about the product.
If you do that and you are leveraging the power of your people, including them, then you can reach more. So those successful businesses did that as well. Okay. And they had another one I want to talk about. They had their leadership also buying. But these is for a lot of brands, people buy the brand, associate with the brand because of the leadership. So you see a lot of CEOs, for example, very active on LinkedIn now, where they are speaking on behalf of the company.
Yeah.
Because people look up to them. They are known for it's called thought leadership. They are known for their leadership. They are known for it. And so people buy in more. So they did that as well. Okay. These are just a few of the things that successful businesses did. And that's what set them apart in this year.
I see. We will move to 2026 and look at the trends that are coming.
Okay.
Yes. But I saw your post on social media, and I'm seeing very interesting things. I saw your post on Instagram, on Facebook, and actually that is what led to our conversation. The reality check, you said these are some of the things you're seeing. Social media pages with thousands of followers, but minimal engagement.
You might say that.
Yes, you said that.
Yeah.
Ads budget. Ad budget spent without clear ROI.
Yes, because they are just boosting posts, not setting objectives. Let me explain this because it's important. You see, all the platforms have what we call objective-based advertising. So when you go to the platform, you need to create an ad. To create an ad, you need to have an objective. Do I want video views?
Yeah.
Do I want leads? What do I want? Yeah. Otherwise, you just give free money to them.
I see. Okay. Now, when we talk about social media, digital marketing, many people pay attention to only social media. But websites also play a role there.
Mobile, it's a whole
right.
Yeah. So we need to stop thinking of it as a narrow kind of area.
Yeah. Because one of the things that you said is websites that look great but generate zero leads, email and WhatsApp lists collecting dust, and content posted consistently but creating no measurable impact. Okay. So those are some of the things that you mentioned in the post.
So those are the things that I observed throughout the year.
Exactly. I just wanted
For example, the bit about WhatsApp, there are two things there. people will go to a lot of clients I know, SMEs, they go to exhibitions, they ask people for their numbers and they build a WhatsApp list, but they never really use it. Okay.
Right.
And where they use it also, they bombard people with unwanted messages. The name of the game is what we call permission-based marketing. Get people to opt in. So when people come to your stand, they buy from you, before they leave, ask them, oh, every now and then we do promotions, so we like to inform our customers about new products. Would you want us to add you to our list? Then they opt in. The way I train clients to do is, as soon as they do that, if it's automated, they should get a message that says, welcome to our group.
Yeah.
Okay. Every night we send it. So just to welcome them, then that connection is made. Okay. And then send them only what they opted into.
But can't you once in a while just say, we also have this particular product?
Yeah, one off. But when you do that, per data protection, you give there's a line often that says, click here to unsubscribe. You've seen that before.
Yes, I've seen that.
You should give them the opportunity to opt out. Otherwise, at some point, see, we haven't tested the laws in Ghana when it comes to data protection.
Yeah.
But one day somebody will wake up and say, I didn't opt into this one.
To this one. Yeah.
Plus, the quickest way to lose a potential customer is to send him the wrong message. I work in the beauty industry with a lot of clients. Okay. But I, for example, even though I work in makeup space for a lot of clients, it's not every kind of makeup that I'm interested in. So if I came to your stand at an event and you got my number, know what I'm interested in. Don't be sending me messages about things that I'm not interested in.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what we do in Ghana is we focus on the size of the list. So we say, oh, must send it 10,000 people. Meanwhile, almost 80% of them are either bouncing or they are blocking you or whatever. Okay, so with emails and WhatsApp, that's the challenge.
That's what you wanted to say, right?
And emails still work in Ghana. Let me say that emails still work in Ghana, especially for B2B. Okay.
Yeah.
It's true that most of us, WhatsApp is our first go-to, but emails still work. But it's more professional. And at a certain level, CEOs, directors, and stuff, that's the level at which they play. Some of them like to receive some of this via email.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Still on 2025. you talked about some of the things that you've also identified as some of the common reasons most businesses fail to get the results. I think you've mentioned some misaligned expectations.
Yeah.
Yes. Strategy borrowed from elsewhere.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very important one, because it's working for this particular brand means that doesn't mean it will work for another brand.
There's even another level now.
Okay.
Strategy extracted or generated with AI.
So people are relying on AI to generate
the strategy for them. Okay. So
but
what
isn't AI supposed to help?
Supposed to help. But this is the catch. Always validate, review whatever the prompt gives you and validate it, contextualize it. Okay. So it might give you something. You know, I'm sure you heard about hallucination and all those things. Okay, sometimes because it generates the strategy based on the amount of data that it has, but not all that data is relevant to you.
Right.
And I'm sure, like we often tell clients, the more informative the prompt is, the better the response, the more accurate the response.
Yeah.
So when you pick that, plus that's theory. How does it hit the road? You execute. So there are some things that even the AI doesn't know. You see things on the ground.
Yeah.
So that's the framework. Always treat it as a framework and contextualize it and adapt it so that it works for you. So not only are they borrowing from other markets or from their competitors or from their peers, they're also lifting it straight from ChatGPT and other places to go and execute.
Right. And
which is wrong. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Other things, maybe just I'll mention a few of them and then we can continue. So you talked about inconsistent execution as well. You started strong in January, went quiet in April, rallied in September.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, again, one example. You see, I'm sure you heard this before. Content is king.
Yeah.
People say it every day. But I say it's not just about creating content. It's about creating relevant content, which generates the right responses. Okay.
Right.
So beginning of the year, everybody's charged up. We're going, and per our content calendar, we're posting 4 times a week. We've got dedicated, whatever. Then at some point in the year, we begin to slack. Now, your audience need to get used to your content, when they should expect your content, what type of content on Mondays, what type of content on Wednesdays, all those things. They come to your platform for specific things. Let me go back to church. People associated with specific churches because of what they receive from the church. If I want a praying and a shouting kind of church, I know where to go to. I won't mention names here. Because the bishop or the pastor is not a great teacher, but
very charismatic when it comes to prayer.
Yeah. If I want somewhere that I want a teacher, that's where I will go. Okay. Yes. In the same way, people sign up, they come to follow your platform. People, let me put it this way, people come to your platform via the posts that they see, but they stick around because of the content that the community it creates in the community. So keep giving them more of what and what they get used to, maintain it. Don't slack.
Just because we talked about strategy, I want to know, is posting, I mean, having a number of times you post the way to go, or having things for specific days? I don't know if you get a question.
I think I get it. So it's not just about the number of posts. It's about how relevant the posts are.
Okay.
Let me give an example. And this is how I like to explain relevant posts. It's informative. Okay. It's useful. It gives value.
Right.
So when you see the post, you say, okay, I needed to see this. I needed to hear this. And straight away, you want to share it with your friends and family.
Yeah.
Like when you posted this, we posted about this show. I saw people on my WhatsApp and stuff, and people are even reposting it because it speaks to their need.
Okay.
And straight away, they believe that people within their communities also need to hear it, so they share it.
Right.
The last one I often say is that it's disruptive. But that what I mean is, we scroll on our phones.
Yeah.
As you're scrolling, when you get to that post, it should force you to stop. Called the power of the thumb.
Right.
If it's a video, unmute and listen to it. The picture should be so sharp and all those things. So that's relevant content. So it's not about the number of posts.
Okay.
But it's about how relevant the posts are. That's why there's something we call content pillars, which every organization, when you set your strategy, you have your content pillars. Okay. So again, let me use an example. If you are a boutique, let's say like this is a men's fashion shop or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't just sell suits. So that's your products. Suits are your products.
Yeah.
But post also on how people can even match their suits.
Okay.
When should you wear, let's say, a navy suit? What does it mean?
Yeah.
What are they? So you're giving people tips.
Okay.
Because people don't buy the suits just for suits. They buy the suits because they want to look great in the suits. So help them look great. So that's the second pillar.
Right.
The third pillar is even teaching them fabric care. Because people don't want to buy suits. Yeah.
And then maybe a few weeks later.
Yeah. But if you're teaching them how to even wash, let's say even their white shirts, how to wash them, how to iron, then you're giving them a lot of value. So your platform is not coming by. People come there for value.
Right.
You've already got 3 content pillars. They can add the last one, user-generated content. So when people buy from you, for example, just have a hashtag and your handle. Tell them, I know you would love this. When you wear it, by all means, they'll take pictures. Just tell them, when you take pictures, tag me. So you are repurposing the content they are sharing with you with their permission. So you go 4.
Okay.
Because when I see you, wearing a great suit, I feel like wearing a suit.
Right.
So the next time I ask you, where did you buy it from?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if I see you, if they see the shop where you bought your suit with a post, I say, so this is where Nick gets his great suits from. Let me also go to that shop.
Right.
So you see, you've got 4 different content pillars.
Yeah.
So it's not monotonous and it's not boring.
I think we can go on and on and on, but that's so much value you're giving already. Let's talk about the trends to expect. What is coming in 2026?
There are a whole lot of things, okay? But like we said, AI is not going away. We're going to see more of AI-powered personalization.
What's that?
So by that, what I mean is the way, for example, that online. Let me put it this way. You've used Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Shop there. So you see when you go on Amazon, the way that using the data that it has on you, it recommends products to you and all those things. It will personalize that way. In the same way, based on the data that shops have on you, they'll be able to target it. So for example, if I shop from one of my favorite places in Ghana, let me give him a shout out, Preman, my friend, my friend Harry. So if he was leveraging AI, for example, you have data on me, he would know everything that's in my wardrobe since I started buying from him. So he can be able, just leveraging AI, be able to recommend to me what I should buy because he knows I've got this black jacket in my wardrobe. And say, and I say, this navy, whatever, will go with it. This one will go with it. So you see how personalization. Right. So he won't send the same thing to you. That's personalization. Okay. It can go to several levels. For example, if it's a food brand, for example, okay, or a restaurant, because you've gone there to eat so often, they've got so much data on you, they don't need to ask you next time whether you want your chicken spicy.
They have that information.
Well, that data is there.
Right.
And this one is no rocket science. It's just about, but the AI analyzes the data, so you're able to, as soon as they key your number, it will come and say, okay, this guy doesn't eat chicken with. It's even happening now. I mean, well, at the manual level. I call the Starbites in my local area, Westlands. When I call them, they know me so well that they have my number now. So as soon as I call, they say, Stephen, whatever. Before I say, they say, chicken, not spicy.
Right.
But imagine AI doing that for you. So it's like kind of on a high, scaling it.
Right.
And the more informed you are in your marketing, the more targeted you can be. I'll give another example. Okay. This one is like years back. There's an airline called EasyJet. Okay. Which when they launched in the UK, I flew on for a weekend somewhere about over 15 years ago. I was here one day 5 years ago and they sent me an email saying, hi Stephen, here's a picture of you at this place 5 years ago. Wouldn't it be nice to go back tomorrow, next week, and yes, 10% discount for you. So you see, it's personalized. It's not random.
Right.
And when you know the brand knows you, it's more compelling. You feel that they're giving you, and that's where we should get to. So that is going to be even, they're going to see another level of that. Okay. Video content will dominate. We've seen short videos, the reels, and all this. Okay. WhatsApp is not going to be a complete revenue channel. So if you are a small business, you're using just the normal WhatsApp, you better embrace WhatsApp business now.
Right.
But it's even going to be a complete revenue channel because now they've piloted it in Brazil and India and other places. Now it's even going to have a payment engine in there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like a one-stop shop. Well, a lot of us now, what we do is we go onto Instagram, find the product, then WhatsApp the people to send it, so they will pay at the door. Now it can all be integrated.
Wow.
Okay. Niche communities over mass followings. It's not about having 100,000 people following your Facebook page. It's about having 20 or 30,000 people who are the right people.
Okay.
Who are passionate. When we say community, it's a group of people who are united by one common. So they want to be on that platform, remain there for more value, and invite their friends and family to join them. A lot of Facebook, a lot of social media platforms are like stadiums where they are full, but half of the people are on their phone because the match that's being shown is not a great match.
Yeah. Repeat that.
They will fill a Crash Sports Stadium.
Yeah.
But people are there just because of the vibes, because, me too, I want to be seeing whatever, but they are not interested in
the game.
The Oli Hearts match that's on there.
Yeah.
But when you have the right people, the right fans, the Oli Dati people and the Hearts phobia people, passionate people filling the stadium, they will come there. And it's not common in Ghana, but elsewhere, they go to the turnstiles and buy the pie, buy the beer and all those things. So from there also, they will go to the, the club shop to go and buy the jerseys and all those things. So they come there, they are buying their season tickets and all the rest. That's what we should get to. Your platform should be a place where people are passionate about you and they are spending more, they are remaining there, they are sharing your content for you, and they're inviting their friends and family to join them. We're going to see more of that. So niche communities over large fan bases. Okay. And authenticity will beat polish. Now, let me emphasize this. people can tell when there's too much makeup.
Right.
Yeah, there are so many like AI generated videos and all this. That's great, but it's real value. It's more compelling when your content is natural.
Yeah.
It's native. This is why I keep saying to clients, invest in a photo library. So, for example, you dedicate days to do a photo shoot yourself. It's all right buying images from Shutterstock and all those places. The challenge with that is, I'm sure you've seen it around. You drive around, you see billboards. One bank is using this same guy in a suit. Then a competitor bank uses the same guy.
Yeah.
It's not compelling.
And I'm going to ask you something. maybe when we're done with the show,
Yeah.
I'll ask you something.
So
Yeah,
these are some of the things. Okay, we're going to see more of data-driven decision making.
Yeah.
Because as this thing grows, like we said, that we need to bring our execs, the leadership on board.
Yeah.
They're going to start asking critical questions. And if you come back everything you're doing on digital with data, they're going to start holding on to money.
Yeah.
So justify everything you're doing and defend every request with data.
Right.
And make data-driven decisions. So we're spending $10 here because this is what is going to get us, and the data backs it.
Okay.
Okay, there are a lot more that we're going to see, but
yeah.
these are just a few of those.
So how do we position ourselves? I think that's how we'll be wrapping up.
Okay, so just a couple of things. I ran about 7 of them. Start with business objectives.
Okay.
Set the objectives for the beginning of the year, and these should be SMART objectives. Another day we'll talk about these. But the organization, the leadership should set the objectives. This is what we want to achieve this year as a bank, as a shop, as whatever. And that should trickle down to everybody, like I talked about the driver.
Okay.
Okay. And digital marketing should own a part of it. So everything we do in digital marketing is not for just not to tickle ourselves, but to contribute to those objectives.
Right.
So for example, if we are launching a new brand, we're launching a new product, for example.
For media and maybe a new show.
Or a new show, for example, digital should create the awareness about it.
Yeah.
So for example, what's the teaser campaign we're going to run on, let's say, Instagram or wherever? How are we going to get people to start tuning in? What's the unique hashtag we're going to use? So build all those things. So it's not just about posting. It's about driving the audience for the new show.
Right.
And those should be the targets that you set. Yeah, that should guide it. Then choose 2 or 3 channels that you can master. I said it earlier, do not play the field. You master those ones. And other channels, you may be on other channels, but use them only for monitoring. It's a whole other thing we talk about, which is called social listening. There's a conversation happening about your brand, quite often even in real time. Your job is to tune in to know the conversation that's happening.
Right.
This is where people make a mistake. They don't tune in again to crisis. Brands, okay. Build a monthly calendar. Very, very important. To succeed, you need to work with structures, work with systems, work with tools. So where there's a calendar, like you asked earlier, you will know what to post, when to post, all these things, and it's a cycle. Okay. Invest in capabilities, not just campaigns. Invest in your people, training for your people that work on the brand. Have the right people, invest in tools, the right cameras, the right AI tools, the right laptops, all those things, okay? Set up proper measurement and tracking. So have tools, your analytics tools, where you are tracking everything that's important. Create realistic timelines, okay? So that budget 20% for agility and opportunities. Set 20% aside for things that you respond to. Like what happened during COVID. Let me use churches as an example. Before COVID, in this town, there are 2 churches I always said that were very active online. ICGC and Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Were really very active. A lot of churches were caught off guard.
That's true.
Some of them haven't been able to get their members back since COVID ended.
Yeah.
But during COVID, everybody went online. And they loved what they were seeing online.
There.
But these churches I've mentioned were already online. They loved them. Other churches invested in them. I made some money during that because now we have to help churches set up digital church structures and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. In the same way, you need to set aside, that's what I mean by the 20%. Set aside budget for things that you need to respond to.
Okay.
So, for example, all of a sudden something changes in your space. Let's say this that we're doing here, this media thing.
Yeah.
podcasting is becoming very popular in Ghana.
True.
But there are issues with that sometimes, okay, with the way people are, what content do they own? I love this show because it's a business breakfast. You talk about specific things.
Yeah.
It's not where you come for gossip and all those things. So you have a niche.
Yeah.
And I love being here.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
It has to get to a point where we now take it to the next level. If we're not there already, we're on Spotify and other places because people now get used to the content that we have. So maybe at the beginning of the year, we didn't think that our audience would grow, our online audience would grow so much. Now people want it on the go. So we need to have some money there that we can invest in podcasting. By instead of even a new studio for podcasting. There's so much content you can create that's not for on-air radio. But for online. You've seen how some of the big media houses create so much content that's not for mainstream video or TV, but for online. So this is what it's like contingency fund to respond to trends and things like that. Have these, and also, again, let me say it. Learn about your audience, your customers, and also about the tools, about the industry. If you know these two in the trends and everything, then you'll be nimble, you'll be more agile, and be able to succeed.
I see. What kind of mindset do we need going into 2020? Maybe that will be my last question to you. The kind of mindsets that every business owner or every business needs to go into 2026.
I'll say digital is more of an enabler than before. Have that mindset. So invest in it. The opportunities are huge if you can focus on doing the right things, have that mindset, and invest in it, and believe that it will work. So it's more of an enabler than we ever thought.
All right. So any final maybe final comments, if there's anything we haven't touched on? Our time is up.
I think there's so much we've unpacked today. But again, show is so short. I mean, they can get in touch with you, or if they want, you can share my number. If anybody needs help planning any of these, we can guide them. Okay, it depends on them. So they can, if they want, they can call me. It's 024-836-7114. Okay, what I'm doing a lot for organizations now is some of them is even boot camps, big organizations. 2-3 days, let's get into a boot camp somewhere, plan, work this. So by the time they come out, there's a document ready to execute.
Right.
But small businesses, I'm doing a lot for them. Some of them maybe 1 hour here and there on the phone or Zoom, guiding them. But that's how we also give back. And I'm sure, like I said, digital is more of an enabler than before. Let's do the right things and we'll win in 2026.
We'll win in 2026. We hope that everybody wins, and that's why we had this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Uncle Nanase, like I call you all the time.
I'm going to start charging you for that.
Right, it's been a great conversation this morning right here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. We've spoken extensively. I mean, the focus was largely how to review and position yourself, but we touched on so much. We talked about things that I'm sure he didn't even know we're going to touch on before coming. Yes, and
but that's what makes a good show.
Exactly.
You can't really predict everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we give more than we promised, and I hope that we've gotten so much value from this. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Yes, his name is Stephen Nase Bwedi. He's a marketing, communications, and technology consultant, and he joined us this morning for a big conversation right here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. So if you miss any part of this conversation, feel free to visit our social media platforms, ZFMGH on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and also on TikTok and YouTube, Zed Multimedia. You can visit these platforms and then you can play back. And also do what to share with your family and friends. That's how we wrap up today. We're back again tomorrow for more interesting conversations.